I'll sit and wait for some of y'all to come on in. It's gonna take a little bit, I suppose, which is fine. It's okay to be patient. I'm a little bit late, like 15 minutes, but not too bad. Not too bad today. I want some grape juice. What is these? Oh, I didn't even know they had filters on here. That's funny. What that one look like? I'll be in black and white today. Huh. Whoa, no. Whoa, no, the bubbles I'll pass on. Hey guys, I'm just looking at these filters. I like that one. I like this one too. It might be a grayscale today. Nah, I can't do it to myself. Beam. Just leave it regular. Hey, what's up, Charlotte? Greetings, greetings. What's going on? I gotta sit and wait for a second for people to come on in. I did not know YouTube had filters. You learn something new every day. Let's see what we got here. Oh, and you can mute your microphone on here too. Said learn something new. Hey guys, what's going on? Say what's up as you're coming in. Make sure you like the video. Share if you care. We're gonna get into it in a second. This shouldn't be too long of a live. Ooh, that water is hitting today. This is gonna be more just based on an experience I had earlier. Hello everybody. Hello, hello. What's going on? Get my cards while I wait for some more of you to come in. Although we can honestly just start now with who we have. Ain't gotta be too many people. I did take some notes on this just to refresh the mind so I could be kind of balanced when I talk about this. Because the energy was, it was interesting. I did some energy work earlier. Bay helped me out with some of it too. It was intense. And it was an entity I have not encountered in that manner before. And a lot of that has to do with what we are experiencing now on the planet as we are raising our frequency and vibration. Because, you know, you don't just vibrate out. And I mean, you can, it's possible. And your reality will slowly shift until it shifts into something else. You're shifting and changing your reality in small ways every day. So it's like the small steps make the big changes, basically. So as we're going into like 4D, and then from there we'll go on to 5D. We're already kind of in 4D a lot. We're popping kind of in and out right now. And it just depends on where your level of consciousness is. But this level and where we are right now energetically is really about clearing our energy. And we are clearing our energy so that we can be more in tune and in balance as we go to other levels and experience different levels and different frequencies of consciousness. I would say different frequencies of consciousness because it's not so much a high or a low. It's an expansion and a contraction. So you can look at it as more as a circle or a sphere, or like the lungs. Like they expand and they contract. So when you contract, you lower your density. And all of this has to do with the topic. When you contract, you lower your density or you bring your density in so it's more solid And that creates the 3D reality. And there are balanced and unbalanced frequencies within that reality, right? There's balanced and unbalanced frequencies in almost every, I say almost because there are paradigm. Sorry, guys. If you guys can see me, just let me know in the chat. How am I disconnecting at full bars? Let me check something else out too. I want to make sure I have all my windows closed. Let's just keep going. So as you're expanding, you expand your awareness, expand what you can experience. I was watching some stuff last night that made sense too, like going beyond time and going into a space of no time. And some people were having, well, the people in the interview, the interviewer, and for some of us, we may have a hard time conceptualizing that. What does it look like? What does it feel like to go beyond time? And it really creates space to be just in the now and to be where you would like to be in the now. So you may have similar experiences, say, to something you experienced in the past. You may have an experience of something that you never really had an experience about, but maybe thought about. You may have an experience that's in the future. And you would think that it would be hard to manifest a future experience, but if you can get into that frequency or that energy, it shows up in small ways first. So it shows up in small ways first. The magic and they say the devil is in the details. The magic is all in the details too. It's all in the small things. So as you start to really tune in with your magic, you'll tune in with details, with the small things first. And then as your awareness expands and as you build on that energy, whichever energy you are actually mostly in tune with, that's what you will begin to experience in your reality. So if you want to make a change, if you want to make a shift, where are you shifting to? There is that releasing and purging process, and I feel like that's kind of where we're getting really good at doing that now. That releasing of old energies, that releasing of stagnant energy that we no longer wish to be associated with or wish to play with, really. If we looked at this as play. All right, I don't want to play with this energy anymore. Like children, they'll switch up their game so fast because they're done playing that game or playing with that toy, and they might switch to another toy or a different energy because now they want to have a different experiences. That's pretty much how the divine self operates. I guess that's why in the Bible told us to be like little children. Okay, so what I experienced today has a lot to do with, and it wasn't just me, it was really me, the client, and my husband. So what we experienced today, I could really say, has a lot to do with the unhealed self. And that's why I wanted to start off talking about the unhealed self. Because the unhealed self can manifest into a more of an archonic and parasitic entity or deity. Now, archons, when they were first created, it was a group of beings that chose to hurt themselves. But because they chose to hurt themselves or chose to have that experience of contrast, the great mother or source was like, okay, you have free will. If you want to have that experience, that's perfectly fine. However, when you choose to hurt others, that energy starts to spread. And I believe that part of it is a cosmic lesson, but there are times when those lessons go too far. And when it's time to just, okay, we're done playing that game now. It's time to move on. It's time to release. It's time to heal. It's time to purge. Now, I say all that to say this. I was doing some energy work for a client earlier today. And when I did the energy work, and I did need Kofi to help me with it because I needed an extra person. Hey, Chando, what's up? I needed an extra person to help pull. So, Chando, you kind of know already what I'm talking about. I needed an extra person to help pull the energy. Yeah, I know, and I just started talking about it. I need an extra person to help pull the energy. I did call in Anubis. He helped cross some of the energy over. I had to put some of the energy into the abyss. So it's almost like having to break down an entity or an energy. You know, you have to break that energy down so that so that the parts that need to be destroyed, that are inorganic, can transmute back to source. And so that the parts that need to be healed can heal, so that the parts that need to cross over can cross over. That's really what kind of happened with that energy. And there was the reason why I made the title the way I did, An Ancient Evil, and I'm going to say at the end what the ancient evil is, and it was a little surprising to me. When I kind of got the message, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So it's an ancient evil, and it's mostly trauma-based evil. So whatever this evil is, it's mostly trauma-based. Hey guys, just make sure you're liking the video as you're coming in. Thanks. It's mostly a trauma-based energy, and that parasitic energy. Now, I've dealt with parasitic energies that have been very inorganic and robotic almost. And I've helped people clear stuff like that off of them. Those you can typically clear with love. You can clear that with love. You can clear both of these energies with Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness still takes longer. You can get light codes from Christ consciousness. You can use photonic energy. Now this one was interesting because I couldn't clear with primordial energy. You can even clear with primordial energy. It'll more be like a plasma, and it'll kind of like wash over the energy body like this, and then like pull it off. I actually couldn't do that with this energy because those more archonic energies that are not really organic anymore, or they went to such an inversion that they chose not to be organic anymore. So I couldn't do that with this energy because it wasn't that type of parasite. Now these ancient evils, or this ancient energy that's coming up from the earth, and from this earth, even at this density, has such a long history. Billions and billions of years, eons of history, eons of trauma. Maybe about 1 eon of trauma, or a little less. I just heard that from spirit. Maybe not eons, maybe an eon. But that's still a lot of trauma. And as we are going into, in 44, there's that interesting, as we are going and moving into these higher, or these more, I won't say higher, I'll say expanded, because that, it makes more sense when I feel into the energy. But as we go into these more expanded energies, what we have to experience in between is a release and purging, even on the planet, even on different pockets and places on the planet, even at sacred sites. We have to experience that release and that purging. The planet herself needs to release this energy. It cannot expand and grow if it is not healed. And so things are being forced to come to the light, to be healed at this time. And it can be, for just us individually, it can be a very hard lesson. It can be something that's very difficult to do, but I believe that it's worth it. And when we can get out of shame, when we can get out of embarrassment, when we can get out of feeling guilty, and when we decide, you know what, I could indulge in depression, shame, embarrassment, guilt, all those lower vibrational, unbalanced emotions, I could indulge in that. And I could really beat myself up, and that might be a way to get it out. You could do that. It'll take a lot longer, and it'll feel a lot worse. Or you could just say, okay, I'm going to every day make space and an opportunity for me to forgive myself and make a change by choosing differently, by choosing to correspond with the reality and with the other beautiful souls around me differently, to be better, to be my best, most divine being. Bring that energy in every day and really embody that every day. So as we're moving, what I realized as I'm helping my client with the energy work, I got some channels after about that entity. And my client had only seen this entity in a past life one time and only looked at the person briefly. So it was a person. That's one key point. This was an actual person. This wasn't just an entity. This wasn't just an archon. It wasn't just a parasite. It was a person. It was a soul with trauma. With trauma. So we have this amazing capacity to just be the most beautiful thing in existence. And at the same time, we have this capacity in our existence, we could say, right? Because there's still so much that we don't know as we are expanding. And then we have this capacity for this great amount of unbalanced wickedness. And we have to make a choice. And we can choose the middle path, which also gives contrast. We can choose the ascension path. If we choose the descension path, we'll eventually end up in a spiral that clears that energy. So it'll break up and break down the energy. And I do believe that the soul is always saved. Even with the creation of archons that I channeled from the Great Mother, even with that energy, as the archons were destroying their connection to source and their soul's energy, that energy would automatically go back to source. It was never like, it wasn't destroyed. Energy's not destroyed. It just went back to source. It was like recycled. And then you have something that is more inorganic. Now this entity fed off of power and love. So imagine that, right? You have an entity that's on you. Also, I need you all to begin to actually clear and heal the back of your chakras. You can also seal that energy. So that could, well, not, maybe don't seal it too much though, because the back of our chakras, we off gas. So if we have too much energy, or as we're walking around, we actually release energy through our spine, the back of our chakras, or through our spine. So you off gas, you constantly release energy that way. Now, because it's very unconscious, no one's thinking about their back. No one's watching their own back. You don't really think about that part of the body. So what you want to do is begin to just be consciously aware and check in, and then know when you have to seal it up. Know when you're like, okay, let me do a clearing. When you have hooks, you can just imagine yourself unhooking and releasing. This one actually had claws. That's why I put the little picture I put, because the claws were in, like this. And it reminded me of Freddy Krueger. They were in the back of the chakras like this. And then what it was doing was actually trying to align. It was already beginning to fuse with the bottom of the spine. So some of the lower chakras it was starting to fuse with, but because it had only been maybe 2 or 3 days, it wasn't really that many days. It had only been a couple days that entity was on here. It's beautiful that you all are also psychics and so aware, because you know when you need energy work, you know when something's off, you know when something's trying to attach to you. You fight it, and then you get, you find practitioners that can also assist you in releasing and healing that energy. So it was on the spine. Yeah, I think that's why when people say watch your back, it does symbolically say a lot. That's a really good point. So in the spine, like this, right? Also, I don't know why, but entities always want to put something in the neck. I don't know what it is. I've done clearings on people where they have like 5D or like 4D like chips. You can't really see them in the physical, but it's like a little chip that gets put in people's necks at a higher dimension. But that's what it looks like. It's like a tiny little chip. I'll find that there. I'll find a lot of hooks in the neck, and then have to release those. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with the neck and wanting to control the neck. There was some hooks in the neck, but and some claws, but it wasn't as bad as the fusing with the lower spine. But the lower spine, the fusing was actually easier to pull off. The claws, they really try to dig it in, and then the entity typically gets angry when you start to pull it out, because you would get mad if someone was trying to steal your sandwich. I mean, it's your energetic food. It's what makes you feel good. It's what feeds your demons sometimes. Sometimes. Um, so, and that's why, too, just having gratitude is really important. Like having gratitude, because whatever food you're eating, whatever you're partaking in, having that gratitude releases any negative or parasitic energy that you may carry. Or because we go through the reality very unconscious. So it's not like it's our fault, but we may just not be aware at that moment in time. Either, let me get some more water. I think I gotta go buy some more water later too. C1T2 is the Atlas axis. It's carrying the world. Yeah, they always want to control the mind. I do, what's your name? Pay Nostagram. I like that. You made some really valid points. Thank you so much. I think that's why, and I think that thoughts are easier to actually control than the heart. I think that's why they connect to the spine like that, because the heart will find truth, especially when you have a clear and open heart. But the mind, I feel like the mind is really where a lot of the spiritual warfare happens. A lot of people are unbalanced in the mind and not grounded in their thoughts, and we all get a little out of balance and off track. As long as we're constantly rebalancing or realigning, we'll do pretty good, you know? It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay, but learn the lessons, realign, and continue to realign and move forward. How you intuitively feel is working the best way for you personally. So we finally were able to pull the entity off. I actually had my husband help me. He pulled with me. And you know what? It was a masculine entity, so I did need some masculine energy. And he has really strong masculine. I'm stronger on the feminine side. I'm actually healing a lot of my masculine energy now as well too. So that was like a big help. So we kind of like pulled. I also had to call in Anubis to cross a portion of the energy over. And we pulled and we were able to get it out. And it was literally like so much pain. A lot of pain right here. A lot of pain in the neck. And then what I noticed was the entity, when it was on the client, was trying to hold their shoulders down and like push it down. Like almost like controlling them, like trying to control them like a puppet. So remember, this entity wants love and power. So when I tried to use primordial, it actually absorbed it, which was a first. I was like, holy shit. Thankfully, I don't freak out. Because, whoa. I was like, fuck, this uses primordial energy. Because primordial, and light, that's why I said light was pretty good. The crystalline flame, I use a lot. The Christ consciousness, photonic energy, Christ light codes. You can bring those in, or star glyphs. You can bring that in. That really will help to break down an energy like that too, so that you can clear it. It just takes a little bit longer. So where I actually ended up going was into the clear Kundalini. And I've had 3 Kundalini activations. 2 of them, other people helped me to reach that. The first one, it was a lot of meditation. The first one obviously is fire. Second one was primordial. Third one was clear Kundalini. So those are my Kundalini activations. And I can say that the memory and the use of the energy is something that you keep. However, it's not like every day I'm constantly in that energy to use that energy. It's something good to have an awareness of, that it exists and that you can use it. And then you can also call in the power of the 4 winds for an entity like this, because clear Kundalini, truly that energy, I don't know how to describe it to people, and I just call it clear Kundalini because it was similar to that energy, but I can't say that it has a name because it's shapeless, formless, timeless. It's just, it kind of just is, you know? It's not something that I can describe very well with words. So that was like the best way I could bring it up. It's just because I had been in contact with the energy. I knew that it existed, so I knew I could use it. So I used it to clear. And then with the help of Kofi, and we were able to clear that energy off. I was able to put protection over my client. And once we were done, then we started getting channels. And we started getting channels on the energy and what this thing actually is. That was the part that I was like, whoa. Because this is a person. It's a person that he had only ever seen, that my client had only ever seen once in a past life, from what I picked up. And maybe there was more. Maybe it showed up in other past lives too, but it wasn't anything like really significant or big. So I started almost feeling bad because I was like, this is sad. It's sad that people could be so evil. And that there would be a being, because archons are not that strong. They typically can't tap into primordial energy. They typically cannot eat love. They don't eat love. They usually run away when you start being in a love frequency. So these are more ancient than that. But it is truly a disgrace. And it is truly a form of wickedness when a soul feels so unloved that it is eating love from others. And when it feels so powerless that primordial is powerful energy. It is can eat primordial energy as well. We should be ashamed of ourselves to have, and we should be ashamed of some of our ancestors too. My ancestors are like, nope, we had nothing to do with that. It's a collective. We're all interconnected. That we would allow a soul to have to go that far. Not one speck of love. Yeah, wickedness is what it is. He said Jamaican accent. Not one speck of love. Not one taste of confidence, self-confidence, feeling powerful within themselves. Slithering around like a leech, just sucking off energy from other beings so that it can actually experience what that is like. That being, if it can do that, it's powerful enough to have manifested as a soul and overcame. Now, this is where that soul has to take responsibility as well. That being has to be powerful enough to overcome. Instead of becoming an archon, it could have reincarnated and decided to overcome, to feel self-love, to make it self-empowered. It might have just needed a little taste of what that's like. So there's a responsibility on the individual soul, but there also is a responsibility on the collective. Because of the interconnectedness of reality, there's responsibility with both spectrums. So now I say all that to say this. The ancient evil is us. It's us. It's us. And we have a choice to make right now, at this time. And what are you going to choose? What are you going to choose? Also, just a warning for you guys, if there are beings that are this parasitic and this strong, I need you all to be doing extra protection work. And then I need you all to please message me if you do need help, or message a practitioner that can help you. Right now, with this type of energy purging, it's exceedingly important to be vigilant about your protection work, because you can end up in a pretty bad state with something like that on you, with something like that clinging to you. So that's my tale. That's it. that's the live for today. I just wanted to come on and give this. I didn't need to be long, but I think that it was very pertinent and important for the times that we are in. If entities like this are literally raising from the dead, or from their sleep, or from wherever they are, from wherever low density that they're at, because all the lowest densities are getting cleared out, the only host that they have is you. Heal your trauma. Do your protection. Love yourself. Face yourself. That's shadow work. Face yourself. It's a very important time. So, okay, I'm all done, guys. If you like the live, thank you guys for giving me a thumbs up. If you know anyone that maybe needs to hear this, definitely share. If you appreciate the wisdom and the information, be sure to hit the Cash App and leave a donation, or book a session with me. Love you guys. Peace.